Oh, guys, I'm celebrating actually because I finally finished all the electrical performance or that so-called parametric test of this naked PCBA or the TPA3255X series like this one, which is a modules. I got several of these. Again, I would like to mention that I got the TPA3250. This is called the younger brother, and the TPA3251, which is the middle brother, and finally the eldest brother, the TPA3255, which is comes with the strongest powers. They say it can generate 315 watt of power for the left and the right. That is called the eldest brother, the strongest among the brother. And I'm really happy right now actually with this thumbs up. I should say this one because none of these modules when I say module like this can able to satisfy the requirements of my DR100W. The reason why I'm evaluating and migrating now into the TI chipset. And you know the reason why? I think that I cannot say it right now, but I'm going to discuss it to you. I'm going to present why I don't like it, and at the end of this video, we will find it out why and what is the main reason. So let's get to celebrate that right now because this is going to signal my ending or the closure of my adventure in the TI TPA325X series. That's gonna be the ending, and whenever there is an ending, there is always a beginning of a new adventure. So cheers for that, guys. Cheers for that. Hey guys, I just want to update you my new speakers, the Tone Winner C6, which I found it at the Guangzhou show last November 25, and here it is. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, guys, so I'm going to open it up. I'm happy to have it right now. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I finally have one. Smells wood actually. Nothing special, it smells wood. Alright, let's take it seriously. You know the reason why I'm migrating from the NXP chipset, which is the TPA8920 BTS, which is all-time my favorite chipset, and I'm migrating into the TI chipset like the TPA3250, 3251, and the TPA3255 is because NXP chipset has been EOL, and I'm afraid that I will not be able to sustain my DR100W Class D power amplifier project, which is personally designed by me and my friends, my DR100W team. That is the main reason, and I don't like it. I don't like this TPA325X series because it can't meet the requirement. Well, when I say it can't meet the requirements, first of all of these modules coming from the Taobao right now, they don't have an interface to be supervised by a microcontroller like the 8051 microcontroller that I'm using right now. To make it more complicated and you can understand it, I'd like to, for example, I'd like to control this module. This is basically, I call it the module E, which is, a module that is derivative of the TPA3255, which is a different design. As you can see, there is a difference that there is a kind of active component in here which is coupled to the heatsink. I believe this is an external monitoring for the heatsink, which is in my electrical performance is pretty ugly. I mean, I will not go into elaborate at that, but I just only saying to you that there is an external thermal sensors in here which is monitoring the heatsink. Now, my DR100 Watt W project, or the simply my Class D power amplifier project, my DIY project, it is microcontroller supervised. I'd like to have it on a remote control that I can power it off, I can power it on, and When I do the power it off, I mean to say that I'm going to put the amplifier or any active circuit into what we call as a deep sleep mode. So in that deep sleep mode, I'm going to put all the boards into the minimum consumable current, or that's so-called the idle current. And without any control to this TPA3255X series, no matter this is TPA3251, TPA3250, or TPA3255, I won't be able to put this into the deep sleep mode. So that is one point. That's why I don't like it. Another thing which is quite important is that these boards, basically all of these naked PCBA boards that's coming out from the Taobao market, I mean the e-commerce here in China, they're like copy and paste, which means to say that the form factor may be smaller, maybe bigger, but all of them can work very well in the 8 ohms load, but it is questionable and they will not work perfectly in the 4 ohms load. And why is that? What is my claim? Again, I told you, I get like A, B, C, D, E, F. I get 6 modules for the TPA3255, 6 modules, 6 different types of modules, plus the one complete product that I subjected them into all electrical performance test, and I learned about that they're not working very well at 4 ohms load. Just let me have a sip a little bit before I'm going to have my short answer. Now, I'm telling you that these modules, any modules that I have tested, they have their killing point, which means to say that they shut off themselves. That is an automatic shut off when you load them with 4 ohms load with that maximum power output, which means they cannot stay longer. And because of temperature, which is very, very high temperature being developed at the heat sinks, that would be more than like 125 degrees centigrade at the top of the IC, that will going to shut off itself. And because these heat sinks are quite small actually, and the amount of heat being generated in the IC tab, it cannot dissipate it. And this is all common to all the these called the copy and paste board coming from the Taobao market, which is also probably available in AliExpress, in Amazon, and different online, which is all of this small heat sink. And that is the reason why I said that there is a killing point wherein these power amplifiers will going to just shut out of itself, and then that's it. It killed itself. You cannot revive them anymore unless otherwise you're going to do the hard reset or power off and then power on. Those are the two major things that I don't like so much about any of these modules that I have right now. Again, I get 6 modules of the TPA3255 and 1 module for the TPA3250 and also the TPA3251. All of them, they have their own killing point. It's because of the temperatures. That is over temperatures when the temperature at the IC top will be more than 125 degrees centigrade. I really like the taste of this Chinese tea. It's really sweet. I think this is much better than Coca-Cola. I mean, personally, honestly speaking. Now, let's go back again to this TI chipset. I mentioned in several of my videos already that if I'm going to compare that with the NXP chipset, we can see that in the NXP chipset, we've got this overcurrent protection, or OCP. That is OCP, overcurrent protection. What the NXP chipset does is that when it encounters an over temperatures or clipping, it tries to cut the music, means to say that it will protect its power output transistors from being burned. That's why we call it the OCP, over current protection, which is happen really when you drive the power amplifier beyond its capability. It's just like the amplifier is already clipping and you still trying to drive it harder. I mean is that the NXP chipset, again, the TDA8950 or the TDA8920 BTS, it will going to protect itself by enabling its overcurrent protections. It's actually one of the protection. So what it does is that it will going to cut the music for a millisecond. So the higher the current, the longer the cutting of the music. Like there will be a dead zone in the music that could be like 50 milliseconds or even 200 milliseconds to even 1 second, 2 seconds, depending really on the current that is being use at the output stage of the IC. If you are a listener or if you are the one who is using this NXP chipsets, probably your action will going to lower the volume a little bit, and that will going to remove that kind of cutting or dead zone in the music. It will going to continue until it will reach the unclip, or the temperature will going down a little bit. So that is basically the mechanism on the NXP chipset. Aside from that, that is the overcurrent protection. The NXP chipset also has its what we call as the thermal fallback, which is thermal fallback, TFB, if I remember that is the acronym. So the thermal fallback means is that when the IC will experience a very high temperature that could reach already nearly the 125 degrees centigrade at the top of the IC, it will try to reduce its input so that the output will be protected. It means to say at this condition that you are really increasing the volume, and then the output started to go clipping, and then the current is too high. So first it will going to have the thermal fallback. It is based sensing on the temperatures, and when that enable, it try to reduce the input to have reduce the output as well. But if the user is still, why it's not increasing anymore? So you have to crank again the volume, and the IC itself, oh my God, this guy is really killing me. So there is a certain limit that the thermal fallback can reduce the input, but if the user is always keep increasing the volume, that it will give way, and then the next action then is about the overcurrent protection. So that's a twofold protections that is in the NXP chipset, and this kind of protections actually is not so much available in the TI versions like the TPA3250, 3251, and the TPA3255. They omitted that as a mechanism inside the IC. I mean, the logic mechanism was not there anymore. But what they have incorporated is that they provided a means of doing this with the aid of microcontrollers. And that is why I mentioned one of the videos earlier that this TPA3255X series, it works best when they are integrated with a microcontroller. It's just like these TI chipsets are like parasites that they need a host in order for them to survive. And the reason why I mentioned that, actually when the TPA325X series encounter that kind of clipping, there is this what we call clip TOW, that is the clip a warning that it will goes to logic 0, which is this logic 0 can be used by a microcontroller that it understood that, hey, this amplifier is already experiencing a clipping, and therefore I can have to do action. So the microcontroller could try to reduce the input input volume again by automatically reducing it in case it will going to make use of a digital volume control that can be done easily by a program. And then this clip TOW actually is just to send signal to the microcontroller, but it cannot correct itself within the TPA3255X series. And if there is no correction, just like in these boards right now, if there is no correction, and there comes the killing point, and that is why that killing point will going to default IO, the input output, it will goes to logic 0. It means to say that oh, I shut off myself. So that can be understood by the microcontroller by the transition of logic level 1 to logic 0 on the fault line. And the microcontroller basically can able to make a kind of reset or can be able to correct that one by reviving once again the TPA3255X series. But without the microcontrollers, you cannot simply do that. The only thing that you have to do is to do the hard resets, which is you need to power off and then power on this module once again. If and only if the condition is that the top of the IC would be less than 125 degrees. If the top of the IC is still above 125 degrees, you will never ever power on the unit. It's always stays at its protection. Do you think what I just mentioned have some sense or it makes sense to you? That basically I don't like this chipset because they don't perform very well as my original chipset with the NXP 8920 BTS or the 8950 TS, including the 8954, which is the highest power. I think that you should agree because I actually have one of the modules which is driven by the microcontroller, which is this one. This one they claim to be a super BTL because this is a BTL and also with another BTL as well. And I'm actually smiling because a pretty girl is actually in front of me. I got cheers for that. Cheers. I'd like to put my claim that this module actually, they claim it to have a 600 watt of power. You can imagine that one. 600 watt. This is a mono modules actually. It's not a stereo. I simply called it as a super BTL because there is already a BTL in the left channel and a BTL in the right channel, and you put them together as 2 BTL. I could just simply call it a super BTL or PBTL as they say. And then oh, by the way, before I discuss that, this is STC Micro and it's a 40 pins. I don't know why they make use of 40 pins. That means the IO is about 40 or maybe 32. They should have used a smaller one actually. This is based on the Intel 8051 core and I've been using this one, so I'm very familiar with this. In order for you to make it work like that, you need that microcontroller to supervise it. Like when it is already experiencing high temperatures brought about by getting to maximum power output, the microcontroller can able to manipulate or able to do something on the input signal by reducing the input signal in order for it to maintain that temperature above 125 degrees centigrade at the surface tab of the heatsink. Not the surface tab of this heatsink, but the heatsink of the IC. So it's very important, therefore, that when you wanted to maximize the capability of the TPA3255 or any of these IC, you need a supervisory microcontroller in order for you to get that kind of mechanism to keep it alive, to keep it balanced, the input against the output, and prevent that from that kind of killing point. That's the dead zone. Because once it died, you really had to do the cold reboot or the hard reset by removing the power and then plug it again if the top of the IC, not the surface of the heatsink, is less than 125 degrees. That is why all of this module right now without a microcontroller, whenever they experience that killing point, it's just like killed. No more. It cannot revive unless again, otherwise you remove the power and then plug it once again. This is ugly, ugly features actually. That I mean, that's the reality actually. That's the reality. But you know, guys, I'm just only talking about if you are operating this module into its nearly maximum power. What about if you just want to have a music without operating into its maximum power? So, well, it's actually decent. I mean, decent. It's really pretty good. It's pretty nice. You know, guys, I already published the sound quality performance of these three modules that I have. The TPA3250, the TPA3251, and the TPA3255. If you haven't seen the or heard how it sounds, you better go back to this link down below, and then you can hear the sound quality of each of these modules with the different songs, and you will really appreciate that. I believe you're going to appreciate that even with that very cheap speaker that I have, you can appreciate its sound quality. The link where you can watch these videos is on the description below. Just click that one. You probably agree that basically they're quite good. It's really had a nice music, that kind of details, that kind of dynamic, and really clarity. And you know that these are live musics from a small speakers. You can see these are quite cheap speakers. How much more if I can use quite expensive speakers that's more of a better sensitivity. I mean, a good one, a good speakers. These are actually very cheap speakers that what I can afford right now. And I mean, you judge it by yourself on how it performed in a live, and that's the reason why I put the spectrum analyzer like in here, just to prove it to you that these modules in a live sound quality performance, this is how it performs. So then, what I'm going to do with my project right now, since these modules cannot satisfy what I need, I think that I have to plan, maybe not this year, maybe next year, I have to plan for me to design my own PCB based on the TPA3251 or maybe TPA3255, wherein I can add the kind of interface for me to control the clip TOW, the default, as well as the reset, or maybe in combined with the mute, so that I can fully control this power amplifier in here, which is not possible with those kinds of chipset. I mean modules from Taobao right now, or from the AliExpress, from eBay or Amazon, which is they don't really provide that kind of interface to control it, like this one in here, which is to me it's useless based from what I need. Again, I definitely going to design for my own use. And again, I mentioned that probably anyone out there who are interested to join me for this. I mean, I never stop saying like this to have a collaboration, a cooperation. That's again called CALAS, which means collaborate, access, learn, avail, support, and share. That is CALAS, CALASS, which is really pretty good that my success in electronics building in the past, like this project, the R100 watt concept project, I mean the Campana amp, the DNY40, they were all successful because I collaborate with others. And it's pretty nice, actually. It's pretty good. I mean, do it together instead of just do it yourself, which is pretty nice to me, that we can learn, we can improve, and then we can, share all the adventures, share as well as the failures, for being frustrated of spending lots of money to get different kinds of boards. Total like eight boards that I have right now, 8 different modules plus one complete product, and that sounds to be crazy, I guess. I think so. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Frankly speaking, if you watch my video like this, I mentioned about DIT, which is do it together, and I mentioned that anyone out there can join me and have these adventures, DIY learning. Rather, we call it DIT learning, do it together learning. First of all, this project, the DIY project that we have done, the DR100 concept project, was made basically for DIY learning, shareware, and courseware. And that should be really, really fun, a real adventure, and that will going to change the course of DIY from do it yourself to DIT and do it together. And that is why I get several boards that the TPA3255. I choose this board basically because it's the highest power that we can play around, as well as the input voltage, I mean the supply voltage, which can be up to 48 volts wide voltage. So I get all of these boards anticipating that someone will going to join me, and I can ship up several of these boards, these kinds of boards, to him or to her. Wow, her. I mean, I anticipated that one actually. Unfortunately, those 8 boards were stuck up with me, and my wife just asked, why these boards are still here? I thought you were going to send to your friends so they can help you. You don't have to spend lots of times in the morning, in the evening, and anytime you're not with me, I mean with the family, then what's going on, like blah 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 blah, why? And just I'm so frustrated to say to her that actually no one wants to cooperate with me. That's really true. No one even interested or bothered to contact me to cooperate. And what I'm gonna do with all of these boards, 8 boards, and then one day, just my wife find out that she actually sold it already at half of the price, because the longer these boards will stay with me, the longer it will gonna be my pain and frustration. Nobody likes me to cooperate. I think there's one would like to cooperate me. That's really beautiful girls, which is technically speaking, my wife don't like it. So I mean, it's cut it short. I mean, long story short, well, the longer these boards will stay with me, the depreciate the price, and they're no longer be useful, and it's a failure to cooperate. So all the boards were sent out to an interested buyer at a 50% price. I mean, and we can still get some money actually, 50%, the price of what I bought. This should have been given free to anyone who would like to join me for this. That's life anyway. That's life. I still have these boards actually, which I actually get them in my bag. That's why my wife were not able to find them in my beds, and they survive actually. which is really pretty good that I have a chance to show to you right now. This is called the module E, and this is called the module F. And they survive. I have something for you to show it. Oh, I think I'd better go back home right now. I'm okay already chilling up in here, and go back home, and I'm going to edit this video and then publish it at once. Sorry guys, for those who did not contact me. You missed the chance to get a free TPA3255X series modules, I should say. But cheers for that, cheers for that. Cheers everyone, and bye for now. We still have many chances to cooperate and collaborate, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Bye for now, and see you in the next video.